On October 2, 2025, at dawn, in the remote region of Hatta, on the border between the United Arab Emirates and Oman, two people disappeared. Roman Novak, 38 years old, and his wife Anna, 1 year younger. Several days later, their dismembered bodies were found in the Dubai desert. The media focused on kidnapping, torture, and greed. But there is another story, much darker, and far more complicated. A story about a man who was not only a victim of crime, but also a victim of a system that created him and then decided to erase him. This is the story of Roman Novak, not as a con artist, but as an insider. A man who knew too much about how the hidden inner mechanics of one of the most powerful platforms in the world truly work: Telegram. Many now ask whether this knowledge itself may have been one of the reasons he became a target. To understand his role, we must understand who he really was. He was born in 1987 in St. Petersburg as Roman Alexandrovich Yavorsky, the son of a successful businessman. But young Roman chose a different path. In the early 2010s, burdened by debt, he changed his surname to Tsarev. He worked for dubious IT and legal firms that functioned as fronts. Then came a conviction for fraud and prison. Finally, a third transformation. After his release in 2023, he left Russia for Dubai under a new identity: Roman Novak. This name change was not simply an escape from the past. It was a calculated metamorphosis, a gateway into a new world. A world where his criminal background was not a weakness, but potentially an advantage. Proof that he was willing to operate in the gray zone. In Dubai, Novak did not merely launch a new business. Under the pseudonym Deluxe, he became active in closed Telegram communities focused on the TAN ecosystem. This was not speculation. Investigative journalists uncovered evidence of his direct contact with individuals from Pavel Durov's inner circle. According to reports, he was close enough to personally visit Durov in Baku in August 2024, shortly before Durov was detained in France. Who was the key figure who introduced him? A man known as Roxman, one of the central figures of the Telegram TAN ecosystem, described publicly by Durov himself as a 27-year-old serial entrepreneur. Investigations suggest this pseudonym belongs to Abdurokhman, originally from Chechnya, operating out of Munich. He was involved in the development and promotion of multiple gray zone Telegram mini applications, bot farms, and crypto projects, including Fintopio and Major. Media reports indicate that his accounts and projects showed artificially inflated subscriber numbers and activity, clear signs of systematic bot network usage. Novak and Roxman became inseparable business partners. Their joint creation was a project called Fintopio. Roxman previously described himself as a co-owner in blog profiles. Fintopio later collapsed, triggering major searches in Moscow City. Officially, operations ceased in October. Both DeFi and CeFi wallets were frozen and shut down. Fintopio did not emerge in a vacuum. It was publicly promoted by Pavel Durov and Roxman as a revolutionary wallet and exchange within the TAN ecosystem. This was its stamp of legitimacy. Using this public endorsement, Novak appeared before investors in Dubai not merely as a TAN representative, but as Durov's personal partner and insider. He sold fake tokens, promised access to closed features, and marketed the illusion of exclusivity. But Fintopio was more than an investor scam. According to investigative reports and media speculation, the project was linked to laundering funds generated by other schemes within Durov's broader network. From stolen European credit cards to bot farm revenue, Novak was the on-the-ground operator. The man who converted these opaque, complex flows into seemingly clean crypto capital in the bright financial landscape of Dubai. Steve Milton, presented in public Fintopio materials as co-founder and CEO, appears in media reports only in the context of product development and promotion. He does not appear as a subject of investigation regarding the missing funds or Novak's murder. Notably, in nearly all available analyses, suspicion, at least implicitly, falls exclusively on Roman Novak, despite Fintopio having a formal management structure. Why the CEO and co-founder is never mentioned in terms of financial responsibility, nor as a witness or potentially liable party, is a question public sources do not clearly answer. In the absence of formal investigations or charges, the role of Fintopio's executive leadership remains unclear, raising further questions about how responsibility is distributed in such projects. The summer of 2025 brought collapse. Fintopio shut down abruptly. A dry notice appeared on the official website. $500 million vanished. Then came the critical shift. Durov's circle distanced itself entirely. All responsibility was transferred onto one man, Roman Novak. Media aligned with that circle began portraying him as a lone con artist who fabricated all connections. Investigative reporting suggests a different reality. A rupture occurred. Novak, deeply embedded in operations, began criticizing internal methods, and, according to some sources, Durov himself. Perhaps he demanded a larger share. Perhaps he became too vocal. Perhaps he simply became living proof, linking Telegram's public image to its darker financial underworld. At this critical moment, the public heard directly from the man at the center. When asked about fraud in Telegram mini-apps and figures like Novak, Pavel Durov responded with cold cynicism.
All those people who were supposedly defrauded. I personally don't know anyone who was scammed. All my friends got rich. Fantastic.
That sentence is the key to Roman Novak's final destination. He was not a friend. He was a tool. When Fintopio collapsed and became a reputational threat, Novak had to be isolated. There was no help, no public defense, only silence from former allies. Notably, these events coincided with early October. Both Pavel Durov and Roxman were present in the United Arab Emirates at the exact time Novak was abducted. They were in Dubai for only a few days, precisely when the kidnapping and murder occurred. Everything else, the abduction, torture, the search for an empty wallet, the brutal murder, may appear as the work of greedy criminals. And that was likely the immediate motive. But context tells another story. Novak was effectively cast out. A scapegoat, abandoned by powerful protectors, he became an easy target. Is Durov directly involved in Novak's disappearance? There is no direct evidence, but the system built around Telegram, one that encourages opaque projects, created conditions in which the deaths of Roman and Anna Novak became inevitable. They were human waste of a high-tech fraud machine. Roman Novak was not a hero. He was a fraudster and an opportunist. But this story is not only about his crimes. It is an anatomical study of how a part of the digital world we admire truly functions, and what it is willing to destroy. A world where legitimate platforms are built on gray operations, where insiders are rewarded while useful and erased when they become a liability. Fintopio is gone. Novak is dead. Roxman and others continue their work. Durov denies all involvement. The system cleansed itself. One question remains for all of us who use these platforms. What else lies beneath the elegant interface and promises of freedom? And who will be the next deluxe who knows too much?